All right, guys, we had fights over the weekend, and also we had another fixed fight. Yes, that's right. We had another fight thrown, whether by shady entities or just the fighter himself. We'll get into it. We'll talk about it. It was an undercard fight, so we'll talk about that. Stick around for that. We're going to start at the top of the card, talk about them all, but yeah, stick around if you want to hear about the fight that was thrown again. So let's get into it, guys. Let me pull up these fights here. It was, it was a card. It was a card. We had Mateusz Gamrot and Quillan Salkilid in the main event. That was good. This Quillan Salkilid kid is, he's good, man. He's good. I like Mateusz. I think Mateusz is pretty good. He's fairly predictable, but he's definitely good, and his wrestling is good. And his grappling is good. And Salkilid, man, just destroyed him. Was outstriking him, then took him down, choked him out. I mean, that was quite the performance. How old is Mateusz these days? I know Quillen's like, what, 26, 28, something like that. He's real young. Yeah, Mateusz 35, so yeah, he's probably, towards the end of his run. He's probably never going to make it to that title shot, but yeah, that was a good fight. And then we had Diego Ferreira against Billy Quarantillo. That was a good one. Diego won by decision. That was a back and forth fight. Punches were thrown, kicks were thrown, takedowns were takedowns. Then we had the damage, Darren Elkins. He retired, right? Yeah, that's probably the right move. He's what, like 45 or something, but really he's more, what would we say? Guys, we'd probably say he's a good 162 in fight years. So, yeah, I'd say it was definitely time for the old damage to hang up the gloves. Yeah, but yeah, he got sparked out in, what was it, like 15 seconds, 30 seconds, something like that. Just put out one shot. Yeah, so kudos, good career. He had a good career. He'll go on be a person that does things in life. I don't know. Does he have his own gym, or does he do anything? I don't know. He'll continue to be a guy out in the world named Darren with the last name of Elkins, and that will be what it is. So good on him. Then we had Amanda Lemos against Alexia Thinera. Yeah, that was, another fight that was a fight. It was, two women throwing fists and kicks and takedowns and, whatever. It was combat. How old's Amanda? Isn't she like in her 80s? Let's see. She's 39. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't be doing that. Yeah, so she's 39. Yeah, well, you know what? What can we say about that one? Alexia done what everybody does to Lemos, and took her down, controlled her, beat her up on top. It's kind of the blueprints out there on what to do with Lemos at this point. Then we got Billy Ray Goff against Ty Miller. Everyone was calling him Goff. Is it Goff? I would read that as Joff. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I know traditionally Joff would have like a Geof or Geoff, something like that. But I don't know. I still read it as Joff. I don't know. Joff just sounds better than Goff. Goff sounds weird to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, we had old Billy Ray getting his absolute butt kicked. I don't know why his corner kept sending him back out there, honestly. I mean, he literally had nothing for this guy. He was just taking an absolute ass beating the entire time. Even if we look at these stats here, I mean, we have, knockdowns. Joff got knocked down twice, didn't knock the other guy out once. The strike differential is absolutely insane. Joff landed 35 significant strikes to 163 by Ty Miller. Oh no, sorry, that was total strikes. The significant strikes, Joff landed 25 significant strikes to 133. But yeah, I mean, Joff landed 8 times to the head compared to 121 times to his own head. They went even for body shots, 11 for 11. Joff actually landed more leg strikes at 6 compared to 1 by Ty Miller. Yeah, Ty Miller was just, beating him up. Beating him up. So, yeah, that fight, he was severely overmatched and shouldn't have been in there. His coaches should have got him out, in my opinion. But, whatever. Guys, if you're enjoying my super, super skilled, technical, strike-by-strike, play-by-play breakdown of these guys, it is imperative of me to mention at this point in the video that you guys should just like and follow. Sub, follow my social medias, join the community. We're trying to build a good community here where we lift each other up and we spread positivity for mental health and anxiety, all those things. I just want to build a good community where we're aware of these things and we talk about these things and we build each other up. And we also enjoy combat sports. So if you want to join the community and be a part of it, send me a follow. My social medias are always linked in the description. Like the video, subscribe. We're inching closer and closer to that elusive 1,000 subs mark. So help me get there, guys. I appreciate it. I'm trying not to be one of those annoying YouTubers that begs for subs, but it's the name of the game. It's what we got to do. And yeah. So, all right, let's enough of the annoying YouTuber shtick. Let's get back into these fights. And then we got Steven Asplund against Guilherme Pat. I don't know. Probably butchering that name, but it is what it is. Man, this was a good fight. This was a crazy back and forth, just heavyweight brawl. I like this Steve Asplund guy. He's kind of funny. He has a good story. And man, he gets after it. He just goes and fights. He doesn't have the athletic gifts or abilities, but he seems to hit hard and he goes after it, man. Can you imagine that guy on top of you? I mean, I'm not talking, crap about him at all, but just he has a lot of loose skin from the weight loss. He weighed, what was it, like 520 pounds, something like that. And then, he lost, 200 pounds. He's down to, 260 something fighting at heavyweight now. But yeah, he's got a lot of loose skin. And that's all I could think about when he was like grappling Pat. And on top of him, just those floppy, loose titties, just all in his face, sweaty, hairy. Yeah. Not a. I think I would have tapped just off of that. Just get me out of here. Just get me out of here. I'm done. But anyways, it was a good fight. It was a good, fun fight. I enjoyed it. Nice back and forth. They both knocked each other down, I think, a couple times in the fight. It was a fun fight. It was exciting. And like I said, Steve Asplund's always fun. He's got a good personality. He's funny. So, yeah, that was a good fight. That was one worth watching. And moving on, we got Dayar Nurgozai against Bruno Lopez. What happened in this one? What I gotta remember. Was it Bruno KO'd Dayar? Man, why am I drawing a blank on this fight? I don't know. It was a fight. It looks like Bruno. Oh no, was it Dayar that KO'd Bruno? Yeah, my bad, guys. That was the result. Would you scroll? Well, my computer is wanting to freeze. Okay. Yeah. So Bruno Lopez KO'd Dayar Nurgozai. And yeah, it It was a fight where a guy got KO'd, and that guy was a guy with a name that's hard to pronounce from Kazakhstan apparently, and he got KO'd by a Brazilian, and it happened in round 1, 4:59 of round 1. So, oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, is it just me or are refs getting like really gung ho about stopping fights with 1 second left? I mean, that happens like every weekend now. That used to be like the rarest of the rare thing that never happened. It feels like it just happens like every weekend now. It's like the refs have like some sort of betting pool going on where they like who can stop a fight at the last second. I mean, just let the come on, guys. Like, I don't care how much he's getting beaten up. Sorry, Jesus. I hope none of you are wearing headphones because that probably just shattered your eardrums. That one came out of nowhere, guys. Whoo! Sorry. Anyways, I mean, it's one thing if he's like literally like flatline, stiff, unconscious, like think Terry Edom against Edson Barboza. I mean, yeah, that's fine. But if he's just covering up and taking a couple shots to the elbows, go fuck off, ref. Go fuck yourself. Stand in the corner, mind your own fucking business, and let the fight go 1 more second. I mean, I don't know. It just annoys me. Well, like a perfect example, Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje. That one was fine. Max literally face planted Justin Gaethje. Clearly, it's done. He's out. And then also that's, you know, the last second of the 5th round. So again, it just is a cool storyline anyways. But yeah, if a guy's just covering up and taking some shots to his elbows, even if the occasional one is mixing in, if it's 1 second to go, just go fuck yourself. Stand in the corner, twiddle your thumbs, look down, behave like a good little ref, and don't jump in with 1 second to go. I don't know. Sorry, rant over. You guys know I get on these rants sometimes, but I don't know. It annoys me, okay? It just seems like it happens all the time now. It literally seems like it's a conscious, like, the refs are waiting for, like, clock, okay, 10 seconds, okay, I heard the clapper, okay, ooh, someone's getting punched, let me wait, because, I mean, notice, guys, a lot of these refs now, like, even if it's not that action-y, notice how, like, at 10 seconds, I know everybody, they're creeping in at 10 seconds because they're getting ready to separate the fight. I'm just spinning my narrative, okay, because they creep in that last 10 seconds, like, let me stop this with 1 second left. No, I know, guys, they're creeping in because they're going to separate them at the end of the round, but it fits the narrative well, right? I almost had you thinking, you know what, that's right. The refs do creep in at the last 10 seconds. He's right. But no, really though, it annoys me. It annoys me when they stop the fight with 1 second left and the guy's just, you know, covering. He's fine. It's fine. Just let him fight. But yeah. So that happened in this fight. It is what it is. Moving on. Now we are at the fight that was fixed. We are at the fight that got thrown, and you will never convince me otherwise. I was arguing with people about this. Some people were saying, oh, he's just a fat, lazy heavyweight that gave up. He gives up a lot. A lot of the fat, lazy heavyweights give up. Sure. But this one was just too much. This was too obvious. I mean, they're getting so obvious about it now, and I don't know if any sort of investigation or anything's getting launched, but I looked into this one a little bit because I was like, this doesn't make sense. And it is the Louis Sutherland and Jose Montana, I think it's Montana, the Jose Montana fight. So, I mean, for one, okay, let me try to dismantle some arguments here. People saying, oh, he was a fat, lazy heavyweight, just wanted out, he was tired. It was less than 2 minutes into the fight, and neither of them had done anything yet. He was not tired. Like, I don't care how fat you are and how bad your cardio is. It was like 1 minute and 30 seconds or something like that into the fight. He wasn't tired. Like, okay, let's look at these stats. He had thrown 3 strikes total up to that point, and the other dude had only thrown 7. They weren't tired, and they'd been on the ground for the last minute. I'm sorry, but I've been in some pretty bad cardio shape at certain points in my life, letting some extra pounds pack on. You know, why do you think this channel is called Fat MMA? But, you know, even at my worst, I'm fine a minute in. I mean, come on. I mean, the only time I'm not fine a minute in is if I'm, like, actively cutting weight and continuing to train on a steep deficit or something. Kind of like I am now, but I'll announce that later. That's that's news for another video. But anyways, yeah, this fight was the fix was in, because I mean, guys, he got taken down. He got, I mean, what was it, like the laziest knee tap ever that Jose Montana done, and he just goes ahead and, you know, flops over this Louis Sutherland guy, and is just really putting up no resistance on the ground. They're just, and again, that's kind of normal, you know, they're fat heavyweights and, you know, doing their thing. But then he just like rolls to give his back and literally is making no attempt to hand fight, to try to get up, to crawl to the fence, anything like that. And then the guy, you know, starts sinking in the choke. And instinctually, because people would argue with me, they're like, oh, well, you know, he just panicked. He panicked and tapped. And, you know, no. Instinctually, you're going to, if you are a fighter at all and you've been in the gym and he's been in a gym and he is a fighter, instinctually you are going to reach for the hand or arm that's actively trying to choke you. That's just what you're going to do. Your instincts are not the second an arm slides across your face to tap. And that brings to the other thing, like in the slow-mo, you can see the dude was adjusting his grip and literally didn't even have it like under the chin. So you're telling me he tapped because a guy had a forearm on one side of his face, wasn't even like cranking, not even cranking, just literally had his forearm basically resting there. Like, that's essentially what it was. This was not a face crank. This wasn't a choker, but oh, face crank. It was a face crank. It was, can you imagine a heavyweight? I've had a heavyweight with his one arm on my jaw, and I'm not a heavyweight. I'm smaller. So, you know, it's not, is it comfortable? Yeah, you know, no, I wouldn't hang out. I wouldn't say, hey, can you come put me in this position so I can take a nap and, you know, get nestled in for a good night of sleep? No, it's not comfortable, but it's, yeah, I mean, you're not going to tap, and especially as he's adjusting and literally is just resting his arm on your jaw. This guy, I mean, he threw the fight. And the funny thing is there was line movement. So here's the thing. Like before the fight, like real soon before the fight, there was all of a sudden, because these guys were even, you know, whole time leading up to this fight, these guys, it was just even money. None was the underdog. But then, like fight day, a bunch of money comes in on Louis Sutherland, and now all of a sudden he's a big favorite. Why in the world would Louis Sutherland ever be a favorite over anybody on this planet? You put Louis Sutherland against an unranked flyweight, and he shouldn't be the favorite. So who in the world was pumping him up and making him a favorite? Now, that can be a classic strategy. You pump up one guy, or maybe you spread a rumor to certain circles that, hey, you know, this other guy, this Jose Montana guy is hurt, or blah, 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 blah. This fight's, you know, maybe you have some illicit Discord groups or blah, 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 and you start spreading things like, hey, you know, this Jose Montana guy's hurt. This fight's, you know, a lock. Put your money on this Louis Sutherland guy, and you're spreading that misdirection. That way you can get a real good price on Jose Montana as the underdog. So that's one option. Maybe it was like a bigger thing where, you know, bigger entity, shady underworld stuff was paying off Louis Sutherland to lose. Or maybe money just organically did come in on Louis Sutherland the last day for some reason. You know, I have a hard time buying that, but let's posit that. Let's say that did happen. Oh, Louis Sutherland looks at that. He's like, I'm on a 10-10 contract. The UFC is not going to cut me for a loss because they don't cut heavyweights, because the heavyweight division is the shittiest division on earth. I mean, we have, Tai Tuivasa on a 73-fight losing streak. And I get Tai is more popular, but still, you know, they're not really in the business of cutting heavyweights, especially if they'll go out and either finish someone or get finished right away, because it at least makes an exciting, sloppy fight. You know, they'll cut the wrestle heavyweights because they don't want the boring. But a guy that'll just go get himself finished right away, they're not going to cut him. So old Louis Sutherland, old Louis Sud is here making this calculation. He's like, I'm on a 10-10 contract. I keep losing, so, you know, really I'm making 10K at a time and getting legitimately finished. That sucks. I'm a big favorite. You know, maybe if I do this right and have, you know, people not in my house connected to my IP address, but, you know, some certain friends, or, you know, just certain people that are disconnected enough from me that I trust, that I can give them some money and blah, 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 and they can put all this money on me, and I can go ahead and throw this fight, and, maybe I make 60K for this fight, or, 100K, or 50K, or, you know what I'm saying? Because to a guy like Louis Sutherland, that's still going to be like life-changing, like, oh my God, we don't have to worry about just living off top ramen. We can feed the kids kind of money, because he's not making shit with his, $10,000 a fight. So, even if he, decided to throw it and could only pull together enough money from enough, unsuspicious people that he made 50K or 60, or, like I said, that's enough to make it worth it in his eyes. But, he might have even got up to, 100, 150, something like that, because that's still a small enough sum that's not going to trigger any red flags to any of the sports books, especially if you spread it out across a few offshore sports books, and, you're not going to raise any red flags because that's literal pocket change to them. That doesn't move the needle for them at all. So, yeah, he could have done that, or it could have been the shady entity. All I know is the dude threw that fight. That was very intentional, and you have to have a reason to throw the fight. Like, you're not going to, if he's a fighter and this is what he's going to do and he's in the UFC, you're not going to, just for the sake of trying to save some damage, or, it just wasn't my night. You're not going to risk your UFC contract, because, like I said, I know they're probably not going to cut, but still, you do have to factor that in. And you're not going to just risk your UFC contract, risk only making 10,000 to just get out of there real quick with a sub, especially when you're already on a losing streak. He's on a losing streak, isn't he? I think he's on a losing streak. And he's from England too. All kinds of shady cats over in England. So yeah. Oh yeah, he had won his last one. Against Tai Tuivasa. Okay, so he had beat Tai Tuivasa, but he had lost 2 before that. So he's, in the UFC, he's now 1-3. But he did beat old Ty last time. But yeah, he's from England. All kinds of shady people in England. Sorry, England. There's plenty of shady people here too. But, us Americans, we have, it's fun to make you guys the gangsters in our movies. So sorry. To me, you guys are all Cockney gangsters and stuff. It is what it is. I'll make it out to London sometime and you can prove me wrong, or maybe you'll stab me and prove me right, and then I'll just keep calling you guys gangsters. But anyways, I digress. The point is, Louis Sutherland threw that fight. Absolutely 100%. Not a doubt in my mind, not a doubt in any of your minds. It's indisputable, absolutely provable. He 100%. Oh, well, I don't want to get sued. He 100% allegedly threw that fight. He definitely, allegedly, absolutely unprovenly, allegedly, but absolutely did, but allegedly threw that fight. Moving on, we have Manuel Souza, who won a decision against Richie Miranda. So these guys went out and they, the funny thing is, they threw strikes at each other and they threw kicks at each other, and they grappled with each other, and then one of them won. So, moving on. We had Miles Johns KO'd Gianni Vasquez, and Jesus. Sorry guys, my washing machine is loud. We'll just try to hurry and wrap this up. Nobody cares about these guys anyways. The cards are getting so weak lately, and I'm going to do a video on that because I actually know exactly why, and it ties into a few other things. But, well, it's not like I know anything special. We all know why, but I'll do a breakdown video on that soon. But anyways, Miles John KO'd the Gianni guy, round 1. That was a fight. It was good. It was fun. Fun while it lasted. Juliana Miller subbed Ravina Oliveira. That was a decent enough fight. Juliana really took it to her. She was looking good. Her striking was looking good. That was a perfectly fine fight. Punches were thrown. Takedowns were landed. People were finished. Then we had Carol Foro winning a decision against Gigi Canuto. And, that was, a fight that happened. And, Gigi was trying to go for takedowns and control and little pitter-pat shots, and Carol was, trying to go for something more substantial. But, that was 2 women that fought each other and were in a cage together. And that is, that is the breakdown of that fight. So, anyways, guys, I have some things planned. I know I've been a little less consistent these last couple weeks. I've been busy. I'll get into some of the reasons why in some later videos, but yeah, between work and some other things going on, been very busy, but I'm committed. This is finally a bigger fight week. That's been the other thing. It's been hard. It's hard to find things to talk about, man, when the fight cards have been so weak and uninspiring. But we finally have another big card coming up this week, so I'm going to be doing some fun videos. We'll break down the card later in the week. At some point, maybe tomorrow or Wednesday, I'll put down, sort of a deep dive into why the cards have been so shitty lately. Tying it into, the UFC's new strategy, Dana's disconnect, Zuffa boxing, all that stuff. We'll do a fun little deep dive on that. And then, yeah, we'll just keep pumping out content and talking about fight week and, getting y'all ready for Ian Machado Gary and Islam Makhachev. So, anyways, guys, with that said, mental health awareness. Depression is a thing, anxiety is a thing, and the mental health of everybody really is getting just crazy. I mean, the world's wild. I mean, we're surrounded with more people than ever, yet we feel more alone than we ever have. I don't know, it's like some weird thing. People don't really talk to each other anymore, hardly. Men find it hard to approach and talk to women. Women think it's weird when men approach them because we're all just stuck on social media and everybody just jumps on Tinder and like swipes on each other, and it's just all like an eye candy visual, no substance sort of thing. And then you send 2 messages and then one of you stops talking because it's boring and you don't know each other, and it's just weird. This social media day and age, where you have a big social following but you don't really talk to any of your people, and when someone does try to reach out, oh, why is this weirdo trying to talk to me? And yeah, I don't know, it's just a weird dynamic, this social media stuff, and it just makes people feel really isolated and alone and disconnected, even though they're surrounded by people and maybe even surrounded by attention. None of it feels real and substantive. Substantiative, we'll go with that. I think that's the word, substantiative. But yeah, and it really messes with people. And then we're constantly bombarded. The algorithms are feeding us violent news and sad news and people getting hurt and racial things. They're trying to feed into racial stereotypes and divide people further. It's all a game, man. It's all just the playbook and the game by the government and the big corporations. They want to, if a certain segment of violence by a certain ethnic group of people makes you angry, they're going to keep feeding you that specifically. They may even feed you fake AI videos of that because they want you to be enraged and they want you to be racist. They want you to hate your fellow man and woman. Because they don't want us together. They don't want us united, because that's where we're most dangerous to them and their cause. So, guys, just don't buy into it. Don't let the constant algorithm cycles that try to make you angry. Don't let it feed into you. Don't let hate and racism win. Don't let all these ploys by our corrupt government and corporations trick you into being less of a human than you are. Don't let them fool you into being this angry, hateful person that isn't just rooting for all your fellow man, because we are in this together and we need to do this together. And we need to be out there and be talking to people and spreading, smiles and joy and a positive influence and helping each other up. We need to be talking to our families more. Because we've gotten so divided. That's what I find beautiful about a lot of other cultures and other countries, is just how deeply connected to family they are. And in America especially, we are not. We will live oftentimes many states away from any of our family. We talk a couple times a year, if that, and it's just not good, guys. So talk to your family, call your mom, call your dad, call your sisters, call your brothers. Call distant friends you haven't talked to in a while. Go out and make new friends. Go on a jog. Go on a run. Get some sunlight. Get some exercise. Eat clean. Try to fuel your body right, because that fuels your mind right. And while you're running, you know, run straight to the comments here and talk to me, and I'll talk to you back. And run straight to my socials and follow them, and run straight to the like button and the subscribe button, because it helps me and we build this community together brick by brick. It's not a me thing, it's a we thing. So we're doing this together. I'm rooting for you. There's more people out there rooting for you than you probably even know. If you're going through something, just reach out, talk to people, and spread that. You know, if you're a person who's gone through the ringer, sometimes it can be easy to fall into a depression and a woe is me, and life is just so hard, and I've had to go through this and I've had to go through this. But you know what the beautiful thing about that is? If you've really been through it and life has been super hard on you and you've gone through some fucked up things, then that puts you in a unique position to be a light to others and to try to help others, because you've been there and you've seen it, and you've been in those just deep, dark depths where you didn't know if there was a way out. And that positions you to be a light, and you need to be that light, and you need to pull yourself out, and you need to be there for people, and to spread that, and to spread the knowledge, to spread where you've been, and try to help others out of it. It puts you in this unique and beautiful position. So look at it like that, frame it like that, and take it a day at a time. Like I said, we're all in this together. So guys, hope you like this video. That's it. Peace.